Canada have defeated the United States on US soil for the first time since 1957. They deserved this win, they dominated this match, so I'm here today to give you guys my 5 takeaways. So hopefully you guys are excited, and if you are, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and let's get into it now. Let's begin with my very first takeaway, and that is the Canadian press and counter press. We were incredible throughout this match. Now, Jesse Marsch wanted to implement this a little bit in Copa America. He didn't have a ton of time to get his team ready, so we saw glimpses of what a Jesse Marsch Canada team could look like at its best. There was definitely growing pains, but this match was something else. Now, I do agree that the United States maybe weren't quite up for it. I don't know if that's because they don't have a coach that Pochettino has not been put in yet, or if we just completely dominated them, because Jesse definitely motivated this group. They looked up for it. They wanted to prove that, hey, Copa America was no fluke. We will go toe-to-toe with the best in CONCACAF right now, and we will take them down because we deserved it. Watching the U.S. play out of the back, and really anytime they had the ball, was incredible, because every time they looked up, we had a Canadian player right there. It started with Jonathan David and Kyle Aaron. It then had Ahmed and Schaffelberg, and then Chouanier and Eustachio. Every time they made a pass, we were on them. You would take a look at a player looking up, and there was 3 white shirts there. And when they did make a pass, and we won the ball back, we were going right back down the other way. Tim Ream had a really, really tough game. And it was just energy, energy, energy. And I loved it. And this is how Jesse wants to play. It looked like a club team. And we just gave them no time on the ball, no pressure. And it was just, it could have been a lot worse, especially in that first half. Now, things changed a little bit. There were some injuries. We had a tough goal that kind of changed the narrative a little bit, the way that this game was going to finish up. But overall, that was a very dominant first half. It continued on to the second half. We took the 2-goal lead, and hey, we saw it through. My second takeaway, I want to just focus on Moise Bombito, because he, in my opinion, and I think there's some other candidates, was the player of the match. Bombito was so dominant in every aspect of this game. It starts off with recovery runs, and we noticed it right off the bat. Jesse Marsch likes to play a little bit of a high line. You saw the Canadian back line push up. It was an easy little ball over the top. Balogun was going in. He had 3 steps on Bombito, and he was caught so quickly. He was muscled off the ball. We then saw it a little bit later with Christian Pulisic, same thing. 3 steps on Bombito, easily comes in, uses that recovery speed, uses his footballing IQ to position his body properly to just let it go out for an easy goal kick. No one was getting past them when it came to going over the top, and even allowing Jesse Marsch to play higher up, because you know you have that recovery speed from Bombito, was incredible. On top of that, he was a menace in the air. There was one play as well where the ball was kind of put into an awkward position. He did a really good job to put it down, and he still was able to get a goal kick. It was a little bit awkward. He was very comfortable playing out of the back as well. There's a few times where Eustachio and Bombito would just play a little 1-2, and the way that the United States was pressing was just nothing. It would be one player, and just simple, calm passing completely eliminates them, and then the United States are completely out of it, and Canada's going back the other way. There just wasn't really an area of this game where he wasn't dominant. Every time he won a ball, he looked fired up. He looks like a player that can be going to play at a top level, which is exactly what we're going to see with him at Nice. I can't say a bad thing about his game. It was very comfortable, and it was very dominant. I loved it. For my third takeaway, I'm just going to start naming players, because a lot of players had really strong performances. Jonathan David was the other player that I think could be considered for man of the match. He had a goal. He had an assist. He scored his 29th goal. He's tied with Kyle Aaron for the top Canadian scorer of all time. But Jonathan David did what Jonathan David does. Now, I think he's one of the best pressing strikers in all of world football. That was definitely on display today, the way that this Canadian team pressed, and he's going to be such an important player to the way Jesse Marsch wants to defend from the front. He's also very good at just kind of ghosting in and out of positions. We know how good he is dropping deep, combining with players. There's many times I saw him just kind of do little layoff passes for Richard Larea coming up this way, or he would do it for Davies. Very good passing game as well. The assist was phenomenal. The goal, taken with authority. He's just an excellent player to watch when he's in this kind of form. And it's not only getting the goal and assist, which is what you want to see from a productive striker. It's everything else, from the link-up play to the pressing, to just being that type of player that you can rely on when the moment is there, and Jonathan David definitely stepped up. Ali Ahmed was another player who I thought was maybe going to end up as the man of the match in that first half, because he was incredible as well. And I said, and I raised this question, I'm asking you guys it, can Ali Ahmed take Tajon Buchanan's spot on the right-hand side when Buchanan's fully fit? Because his technical ability and the way that he can just dribble with the ball glued to his feet is sensational. But again, when it comes to pressing and winning the ball back, Ali Ahmed in that first half did a great job. At every time Christopher Lund was coming in, it was usually Ali Ahmed taking the ball and going the other way. He's very intelligent with his runs, his passes. he was electric. I really liked him. Now, Ahmed's versatile, so he can get pushed into the midfield in a midfield 3 with maybe a Eustachio and a Kone if that allows Buchanan to go in there. But I kind of like Ahmed down the right-hand side, and it allows a player like Mathieu Chouanier, who had a very impressive performance as well. We're asking about 6 depth or midfield depth. After Eustachio, Kone wasn't here. We got Seager, who maybe wasn't quite ready to get any minutes in this match. But Chouanier came in and had a big boy performance. He looked very comfortable in the midfield. He's the type of midfielder that can press, can run, and I think he just has the legs to be a Jesse Marsch kind of guy, more than an Osorio does, and he did the job to perfection alongside Eustachio. Alphonso Davies also had a really strong game at left back. Yes, you don't notice him like when you notice him playing at left mid, winger, or striker, but it's kind of a good thing. He's just quietly doing an excellent job in that back four. He still makes runs going forward. He still gets in dangerous positions to put balls into the box. I love his game at left back. He really suits this team. Also want to shout out Liam Miller and Taney, who came off the bench and brought a lot of energy and did a really good job. Positive performances from both of them. Takeaway number 4 is going to be that this team played with confidence, swagger, and they finished this thing out. Now, I talked about how well this team did on the pressing side of things, but in possession, they were so comfortable on the ball. Everyone looked comfortable. There was times where, the U.S. players were closing in Crepeau, easy little pass, play their way out of it. Bombito Cornelius, again, very comfortable on the ball. And there was a little scene, and I'll try to describe it for you guys, but Eustachio had it. Balogun was coming at him hard. He just very calmly, one little pass to Bombito. Bombito looked, gave it right back to him. Balogun's way out of it. They weren't pressing us the way that we were pressing them. Eustachio looked up, had all the space in the world, put in a beautiful ball to Davies, and all of a sudden you have your best player running down the left-hand side where he put in a box and he won a corner. We didn't score a goal from it, but it would just show the way that this team was just playing with confidence, and they weren't really scared. It was a flawless performance pretty much up until that awkward goal where, if Davies would have got a piece of it, he could have put it out for a corner and probably wouldn't have conceded. He missed it. It was thrown back in, probably offside, but they scored. They kind of turned the way that the last 20 or so minutes went in this game, but we saw it through. Canada has problems when it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net. We scored 2 goals, so we could have scored more, but I'll take it. And we saw the game where that third place match in Copa America, we know what it feels like. I love the way that we did it. We didn't seem like under a ton of pressure, and when there was a big opportunity for Pepe, Crepeau came up big, got the win, and it was honestly a great way to see out this game and pick up a historic win. My 5th and final takeaway is going to Jesse Marsch, and it's the fact that he's done everything right. Coming into this job, giving the fans, giving the players a giant boost, a huge performance at Copa America. In the media, he says all the right things. He'll take a shot at the U.S., he'll take a shot at the players. He'll put himself in a position where he wants to sing the Canadian national anthem, doesn't want to worry about the U.S., and he wants to get a result over them. This meant something to him, and I've talked about it plenty of times, and they got the result, and it's going to be huge. It's going to make this team so much closer. I know it's just a friendly, but it's a big boy performance, and it doesn't just come from the result, which was 2-1, which could have been 4-1. It came from the fact that we were dominant in almost every position, and even when things over 90 minutes don't go our way, like that awkward goal that probably shouldn't have happened or shouldn't have counted, they found a way to see it through while handing debuts to Stephen Afrifa and Nathan Sliva. So shoutouts to them, and the players came off the bench and looked just as energized as the players that started. This looks like a team that honestly enjoyed being around each other, and Jesse Marsch has just done an incredible job in the short time he's been here, and I can't wait to see the way that this team improves through the rest of 2024, 2025, and goes into our home World Cup. It's been fantastic to watch. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll have a preview coming out on the Mexico match. We'll be doing the watch along, 5 takeaways as well. But let me know down in the comments section, what do you think about my 5 takeaways? What was your biggest takeaway? And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub. We'll see you guys soon. Cheers, friends.